I'm serious.
This guy's a piece of cake.
No. This is a serious question. I mean, it's a serious question.
Because I don't use the term
if you want to bar human beings,
are they human beings? Are they human beings?
No.
That's just ridiculous. You talk about straw men. You just did that.
That's a question that I'm directing to you. I'm not making a statement. Here's the difference. Here's what I'm asking you.
People should come to the country legally.
How far should we go?
People should come to the country legally.
How far should we go for those who are here already, though? Should we kill them? You said you're fine with not giving them cars. You're fine with barring them from driving. You're fine with barring them from access to health care. How far should we go? Should we put them in little camps?
We should
maybe ship them away?
We should not reward them for coming here illegally.
Hasan Pikar getting absolutely wrecked by Larry Elder on live TV. I mean, this is bad for Hasan. He's already spiraling like 30 seconds in, asking, should we kill them? Should we put them in camps? Like, bro, nobody said that. Larry's just saying people should come here legally, and Hasan immediately jumps to the most extreme thing he can think of. That's not a serious argument. That's desperation. And it only gets worse from here.
It's because part of the reason for the homelessness crisis is because of the lack of affordability. Leo Haney is a economist from UCLA. He estimates that because of zoning ordinances, NIMBYism, all the rules and regulations that they put on people that want to build housing, housing costs almost 50% higher than an audit cost. So that is a failure of liberal policies. But the other problem, of course, is that a lot of people who are homeless have mental problems. They have substance abuse problems, and throwing money at it is not going to help it. The government needs to get out of the way and allow churches and nonprofits to deal with this problem because government can't do it.
Okay. I agree. I think this is a problem of liberal capitalism, 100%. And I also agree with everything that Larry just said. I think the solution is to decommoditize housing as best as possible through a series of different programs. Rent control was something that was put forward. And unfortunately, private interests were so powerful that BlackRock...
Okay, wait, so Hasan just said he agrees with Larry Elder? Like, fully agrees? I'm sorry, what? Larry's sitting there talking about how liberal policies, zoning laws, government regulation, that's what's driving up housing costs. And Hasan goes, yep, I agree, this is a problem of liberal capitalism. And then, here's where it gets insane. He says the solution is to decommoditize housing. Decommoditize housing. This man owns a mansion in Malibu. A mansion he bought with money from selling shirts that literally say tax the rich on them. I mean, you can't make this up. Like, the hypocrisy is just sitting right there on the surface and nobody blinks. He wants to decommoditize housing, but he's literally one of the people who commoditized it the most for himself. That's like me eating a whole pizza and then telling you we need to ban pizza. It doesn't work that way. And the people who follow him, who genuinely believe he's fighting for them, I don't understand it. He benefits from capitalism more than almost anyone in his audience ever will. And he's sitting there saying capitalism is the problem. It's wild.
Man. Brock, for example, spent I believe upwards of $14 million or $75 million in just lobbying and marketing efforts to make sure that rent control that did not happen in the state of California. They're not in California. They just own a bunch of houses. There are 100,000 empty homes in the San Francisco metro area alone. And there are, what, 59,000 homeless people? It doesn't seem like, I know what the solution to this problem is. I think we all know what the solution to the problem is, and yet we can't grasp our mind. We can't just say it.
What's the solution?
Giving homeless people houses. It sounds ridiculous, but there are empty houses and people dying in the streets. What's more important? Making sure that the property values are as high as possible, or making sure that our fellow Americans, young children who are going to college right now, trying to better themselves and trying to build a better future for America, living in their cars, living on the streets. What's more important?
Rent control and policies like that create a disincentive on the part of contractors to build housing. So if you really understood...
Oh, no, that's precisely what I mean.
If you really understood the problem, you'd be opposing rent control, not advocating.
I don't think rent control is a perfect solution. I think rent control is a Band-Aid, but it's a solution in the right direction.
No, it's not.
Because what did I say? I said decommoditizing housing is the main goal. Building public housing, building affordable housing in the short term with rent control, making it as unaffordable as possible on the landlords to own private.
Hasan's solution is literally just give them the houses. That's it. That is his big galaxy brain move. Like, I get it. It sounds nice to say to a camera, but it's just not how the real world works. You can't just point at an empty building and say, okay, yours now. And then the second he gets pushed on the actual economics of it by Larry Elder, he just starts backpedaling. He's talking about rent control, which, okay, Larry points out that just kills any reason for people to actually build more housing. And suddenly Hasan is like, well, it's just a Band-Aid. Wait, what? You were just acting like this was the fix. Now it's a direction? It's just totally totally incoherent. The real goal comes out at the end, though. He wants to decommoditize housing. He wants to make it as painful and expensive as possible for landlords to even exist. He just wants the government to run everything. It's the same old socialism script he always runs. He can't even stick to one point for 30 seconds without tripping over his own logic. Honestly, Larry doesn't even have to do much here. Hasan is doing the work for him.
So that housing, which I would regard as an inelastic, I would regard as having inelastic demand, which is a necessity for people to survive, shelter, right? Very important. Should be dealt with appropriately. But I also feel the same way about healthcare as well.
So you want government to displace private contractors?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I think private contractors demonstrably are failing right now. We are seeing this. We're talking about homelessness. Why do you think this problem exists in California? It's affordability. People can't buy houses. And you're right about the mental health issue as well. Again, another thing where our government is failing us.
Larry, your defense for private contractors.
Well, if Hasan believes the problem with homelessness is because we don't have more rent control, I don't know what planet he's living on. New York has had rent control for a very long period of time. It destroyed their housing stock that they had before the Second World War.
It's not just rent control, Larry. Don't focus on that.
And the idea that I, as a contractor, should be barred from charging fair market value for my rent will create a disincentive for me to build more housing. And single-room occupancy also has been pretty much regulated out here in California. We ought to rethink that. So we ought to unleash the private sector, not constrain the private sector, as Hasan wants to do.
Here's what happens when you unleash the private sector. Sorry to cut you off. Airbnb, which is absolutely destroying the housing market as well. Because, hey, they're incentivized. That's what happens when you try to fix something with the profit motive. You have a bunch of homeless people, and then Larry sits here and says, why don't we just let the nonprofits take care of it? Well, the nonprofits are not going to take care of it. If we wanted to wait for people to be nice to one another, I don't think we would have gotten into this problem in the first place.
Let's talk about another issue. California passed a budget this week, over $200 billion.
I mean, give me a break. Hasan brings up Airbnb like it's this huge gotcha moment, saying this is what happens when you unleash the private sector. Are you kidding? Airbnb being a mess is literally a result of bad regulation, not the free market just existing. It's such a lazy surface level point to make. And then he says private contractors are demonstrably failing. Okay, where? In California? One of the most regulated, expensive places to build anything in the entire world? That's not the sector failing, that's the government basically strangling every builder in sight and then acting shocked when nothing gets built. Larry is 100% right here. If you tell a contractor they can't make a profit or charge market value, why would they ever build more housing? It's basic economics. It's not even a debate. But Hasan just ignores all of that to hit us with that line about waiting for people to be nice. Look, nobody is saying we should rely on niceness. Larry is talking about incentives. If you kill the incentive, the work stops. Simple as that. Hasan tries to make it look like the only options are total government control or just hoping billionaires suddenly get a conscience. It's totally dishonest and he knows it.
Perhaps the most controversial aspect of it was this health care for undocumented people under 26. They'll have access to Medicaid.
You mean illegal aliens?
Or depending on your perspective on what word you choose to use.
Wait, let me ask you. So, you said illegal aliens. Do you not think that they're human? They're human beings, right?
Is there a term called undocumented in the U.S. Title Code?
It doesn't matter. Are they human beings or not? I'm asking you a direct question.
It doesn't matter.
We're having. You want to have a conversation about the legality
why
or whatnot?
Ask me some stupid question like that? No, they're gerbils. Of course, they're human beings.
Oh, okay. So then that's fine. Then we should give them health care. There we go.
The question is, what should we call them? And the answer is the precise name in the title code for people in the country illegally is illegal alien, not undocumented. It's not in there.
Why are you trying to back into the legal conversation when we're trying to have a conversation around morality? Obviously, I understand how the law works. The law is also susceptible to changing. Now, let's have a conversation about the morality of whether or not we should be giving these people health care.
Well, I think let's ask the question though in terms of because money is not infinite. So sort of the choice for California taxpayers when we have so many other problems, including homelessness for so many California residents, is this a good use of California taxpayer money to give it? To pay for this?
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. I think we should solve the homelessness problem as well, as I demonstrated in a few different ways and how we can make it a little bit better and mitigate that problem. But we should also absolutely help the people that are here already, that are working in all facets of industry, that are contributing to taxes. I mean, these are just human beings. Like you can call them undocumented, or you can call them illegal, you can call them whatever you want, but these are human beings that are existing.
A bigger welcome mat for people to come here illegally. In California, already illegal aliens can drive cars legally. In California, an illegal alien can get in-state tuition, which somebody in Wisconsin born here can't get. It's outrageous.
Do you hear yourself though? Like you want to bar human beings from driving around?
Well,
just because they were born on another side of an imaginary border.
Here's the governor's perspective on this, because I asked him that same question, and he says, look, they're here anyways. They're going to the emergency room anyways. It's going to be more expensive to treat them in the emergency room, so we're better off giving them health care so then they can get preventative care. What do you say to that?
The answer is you are creating incentives on the part of people to come here illegally, to come to California and take advantage.
Why not kill them?
And take advantage.
Why not kill them? Why not enslave them and put them in camps then?
Why not kill them? I mean, seriously, that is such a cheap, bad faith move from Hasan, and he knows it. He's losing the argument, so he jumps straight into why not put them in camps. Like, come on, nobody is saying that. We're talking about taxpayer money. We're talking about the law. You can't just scream morality and expect everyone to hand over their wallets. The point Larry is making, the real point, is about incentives. If you give people in-state tuition, driver's licenses, and now free Medicaid, you are literally rolling out a red carpet for people to break the law. It's a slap in the face to a guy in Wisconsin who was born here and still can't get those same benefits. How is that fair? It's not. Hasan keeps falling back on the human being thing as if that's a magic wand that makes borders go away. Yeah, they're humans. Larry said that. We get it. But being a human doesn't mean a country owes you everything for free the second you walk over an imaginary line. It's just common sense, but Hasan would rather act like a child and shout about enslavement than actually talk about why my taxes should pay for this. It's total desperation.
No, I'm serious.
This guy's a piece of cake.
No, this is a serious question. I mean, it's a serious question.
Because I don't use the term
if you want to bar human beings,
are they human beings? Are they human beings?
No.
That's just ridiculous. You talk about straw man. You just did that.
That's a question that I'm directing to you. I'm not making a statement. Here's the difference. Here's what I'm asking you. How far should we go?
People should come to the country legally.
How far should we go for those who are here already, though? Should we kill them? You said you're fine with not giving them cars. You're fine with barring them from driving. You're fine with barring them from access to health care. How far should we go? Should we put them in little camps?
We should
maybe ship them away?
We should not reward them for coming here illegally.
Okay.
I agree with President Donald Trump.
So how far do you think we should go?
May I answer the question? We should get rid of the bad hombres. Those who have done real serious crimes, they should be gotten rid of. And there are hundreds of thousands of people already that have deportation orders, and we haven't rounded them up and gotten them out. They ought to be gotten out.
Do you think everyone with a deportation order is a bad hombre, or do you think people are just getting deported at a higher rate now because Donald Trump wants to make it seem like he's doing something?
He's prioritized it, and if you walk down the street and you're an illegal alien, you cross the street illegally, you're not being deported. He's talking about bad hombres, and I like the way he's doing it.
All right, we're gonna have to leave it there. Before we go to break, though, we got to give a shout.
I mean, Larry Elder absolutely demolished this idiot Hasan. It wasn't even close. Did you hear those questions? Should we kill them? Should we put them in camps? Like, what are we even doing here? It's such a desperate bad faith move to try and bait Larry into saying something insane just because your actual argument is falling apart. Larry didn't even flinch. He just stayed calm and stuck to the basic point. We shouldn't reward people for breaking the law. That's just common sense, but Hasan can't handle that, so he has to try and twist it into some extreme hypothetical nonsense. And honestly, I don't buy anything Hasan says. The guy's a total grifter. He's sitting there acting like the champion of the people while making millions off YouTube and selling tax the rich shirts. It's all a performance. He knows his audience eats up the drama, so he goes for these